The dark night turned into my worst nightmare when I saw my wife, drunk and confused, coming home. But that was only the beginning. Not only was she cheating on me, but she was walking around with unexpected news that left me stunned. Everything I had believed in, everything we had built, was undermined in a single moment. The amazing stories of my wife's infidelity began to unfold before my eyes like an unpredictable puzzle, where each new detail added pain and doubt. The mixture of betrayal and intoxication created an explosive mixture that stirred not only my life, but also the fates of everyone involved in this tragic story. Are you ready to absorb this story full of intrigue and emotional intensity? Then sit back and get ready for an amazing journey into the world of infidelity, where every discovery can change everything you know about love, loyalty, and betrayal. Welcome to a world of amazing wife cheating stories that will expose hidden secrets and turn your idea of truth and lies upside down. My wife is 35, my wife is 32, our son is 1 year old. So, I'll start in order. This story started quite a long time ago, 5 years ago. We met completely by chance, stood in one local network, talked to each other, decided to meet. I saw her, fell in love up to my ears, tall, slender, beautiful, but I think all mine. I am not a bad guy. Many looked after her then, but still I got the prize. We communicated with each other for a year and a half, soul to soul. Everything was just great. No one had ever been with anyone else. My parents loved me. I was her first man, and we were both happy in bed. In general, I think, well, I will get married, and why hang out if we are happy anyway? It's time to move on. There, home, children. But to strengthen my desires, we did a silent treatment for a year. This year, everything was even better. But 2 months before the wedding, I am offered a good job in a nearby city. We decide that we need it. In general, one day she calls me and asks to have a walk with a guy from local Lokolki to chat. Well, I think that there is no ring and I am not a Moor to put her in irons at home. In short, I allowed it. She asked me to, and she could just sneak away. Then I find out that they went for a romantic stroll. In the park, there was a bonfire and smiles in the pictures. I scandalized to keep up appearances, but then it calmed down. Right before the wedding, tragedy strikes in my family. I have to suddenly move back, since I was the only man in the family. Well, I think it's okay. We kind of planned to get married. It is necessary to do. The dress is bought, the cafe is booked, and my father really liked her. We waited as long as it was supposed to be and got married. So I'm left alone in the house, man, with my young and my mother. Well, those who have faced such a combustible mixture will understand. It is also worth noting that my father was not just my best friend and comrade. He was a wise mentor and role model. For me, on my son, at least 10% to be so. But with my mother, I communicated purely hello and goodbye. In general, went feuds, and then called back to work in another city, and even to raise, I think we have to move. In general, we moved with his wife. In a native city, have to travel often. The benefit is not far. And my mother without me and my sister Mrs. My sister is also in another city, only comes very rarely. But then, I began to hang out at work for 24 hours, and I think the family needs an apartment, a car, and other good things, and my wife does not mind, supports it. Well, I am like a deer, and quietly work to not get bored without me. I asked my sister to put it in the state office. It worked. We went on vacation and decided to have a baby for greater happiness. It is important to mention that after a holiday at the sea, we came to my hometown for a week or so. And then the child with her pregnancy began to grow cold. I think the child takes away forces. I lag behind. And in the meantime, I find out that she often communicates in Skype with this guy with whom, you remember, before the wedding she went for a walk, on a kind of no criminal there. Hi. But I am a moron, I trust her. I did not dig. Then the birth of a child, the boat is rocking the family, personal life for 6 months tends to zero. In general, in order for it is not so worn out, sometimes I take her to her mother to help, and I buy in his town one room, and under the collective forces, a month turning it into a two, so the child is better. We take a fresh foreign car to transport the child. In general, loans, and of course working hard to make all her and my dreams come true. She shuttles between her mom and me. Everyone seems happy, but personal life because of the baby is about nothing, and rarely by and large only when she is in town and her mom is babysitting. We can allow an hour or two to give each other an affection, but you understand. And so, here came the hour X. I came for a couple of days to take her back to her place. And the second day in the morning we were going to have a romance. I take her away from her mother, and she is just nothing. The feeling that she drank, the baby is breastfeeding, well, I think okay, my head hurts, tired, but no, I feel she drank. In general, she says, yes, I drank with my own, thank fuck, a great romantic, and the baby. I say, in short, I will have a conversation with your mother, what the hell it was, how you drink and feed the child, and in general, what, in general, seriously talk. I was offended, silently arrived in the evening in the city where I work, and then declares, I shorter cannot lie to you, drank not with his, and with him, with the same guy, let's call it Veja. We celebrated the purchase of his apartment, one room. I was mad at her, I was offended, but I think that I can drink beer with my friends too, or I can go to a friend's sauna, just a sauna. Without anything, I'm a bitch, I can drive over there. Sometimes, okay, we make up, a month goes by. My son's birthday, the next morning I look, she is in the kitchen, and she has bikes open on her computer. She is not an athlete, and Vezia is just this cyclist, and she was like me from the kitchen murmuring, honey, look at bikes, maybe I will buy one. I look, and the bike Pro, I know a bit about them. I think, exactly what he told me. I wonder what, open in contact, before that never looked only Skype sometimes, when she showed me. I opened contact and read, it was him, and then the details of their drinking spree. I was shaken. I thought, oh my gosh, they just celebrated together, the apartment they bought a year and a half ago, and a half. Well, I do not go into details, but from their correspondence, they drank together at his place, they drank in the soup. Really, she did not give him this time, because she was afraid that he was too drunk, but she trusted him with her life to take her home in such a slushy, to the fact that the killer sucks, does not think about the child at all. And the most interesting, they drank yes, exactly the sambuca I bought, and planned to do it still, and finish what prevented them from being drunk that day. I pressed against the wall, I confessed, saying, yes, we kissed, yes, made advances, yes, about the loss of my earrings, but to worry him, and so my earrings are all there, returned, as I understand, quickly, because the text says that under the covers remained, but he insists that there was no sex. I read in anger further, this is not an isolated date of theirs as she is at her mom's. The baby is in her care, and she goes with him to a cafe or an apartment. And the most interesting thing is just that the week before conception after the vacation, she managed to go to his apartment. She was drinking red wine and smoking hookah, probably so that the future child would be healthier. In general, I am furious and sent her to her mother, and I sit down to think, not one sorry, just pretends that nothing happened, and I am furious, just offended. They say, you do not worry, you were my first man and the child from you, but the mother of your word, the only one did not sound, said she was just bored while I was working. She wanted an adventure. They say, you want, divorce, and now, who can tell what they had? Correspondence, she deleted almost immediately. I know only what I have managed to read. I sit like a fool and wonder whether she slept with him, and whether sex matters, met, kissed, lied, count betrayal, in this whole situation, and from cutting off from the shoulder. The only thing that restrains me is the child, but to live, of course, I do not know what to do next. Maybe you can give me some advice. I have been thinking about it for a couple of years already. I cannot get it out of my head, so I am going to tell you everything from the first person. I have been living with his wife for 6 incomplete years and 2.5 years married. I used to go on business trips, and our life was reduced to the fact that while we were not together, we missed each other very much. When together, we enjoyed each other. A year and a half ago, I stopped going away for long. I made that decision myself, talked to the boss, decided that enough, I need to be home more in the family. Before my wife, when I went away, tried to keep herself busy with whatever you can, driving school, English classes, and the like, and constantly told me that she misses me very much, that there is no one to spend time with, talk, communicate, and so we stopped breaking up. But everything has gone wrong. Some would say crisis. I do not know. And with children, all did not work, and we tried very hard. I went for a promotion, additional responsibilities, but I was glad to earn more money, that I can now bring more to the family, for us, for her. It was a matter of staying late at work, but only so that we had everything. In general, I caught them. The first day she begged my forgiveness, but it was only the first day, and all. We have not quarreled, on the contrary. Sat down and started trying to work things out peacefully with each other. We worked it out for a week. Now we came to a decision, divorce and separation. As she told me, I forgot about her, shut down and stopped seeing her as a woman. And a year ago, she had already fallen out of love with me, but tried to keep everything. But there was a moment when she failed. I gave myself to someone who was able to listen to her, knew how to talk differently than I do, in whom nothing irritates her. That's what happened. And she couldn't hold on anymore. And I came at that moment. As she told me, it was their first time. I don't see in her eyes that she is remorseful. No, only resentment for not being able to hold back. And what hurt me so much, and I see the pain while we were talking to her. So she said that she could not be with me because she was ashamed. Yes, I would at least see that she wants it all back. Then it would be easier to let go. She answers me that she is like a robot now. Her emotions have turned off, only the thought of how to survive. And I seem to understand everything with my mind, that everything from what happened cannot be erased. And she does not love anymore. I let her go. But my heart cannot understand. It seems to calm down, but no, and it rushes, and it hurts. It hurts that everything she does is not for me, and I try to help her in everything to smooth the parting. And I am drawn to her so that I have no strength, just to not know what to do next. I don't know what to do next for whom, because everything I did was only for her, and for her sake. That's the story of my friend. And when I saw him, I looked at him, and the man himself was not himself, and with a skinny, fell on the glass at that time. I do not know what's wrong with him now. I do not know what he is now. We have not seen each other for a long time. But I do not think that his fate was good, and I do not want that. But on the other hand, I do not know whether they had something or not. Advise me what to do, and respected ministers, tell me what he can advise this dear. Here I was honestly shocked when I read this story. God, this is what you need to read, man. In that correspondence that she so hastily deleted, what are you waiting for someone to tell you something? What are you agonizing over, God? Well, that's the truth of it. How many stories have there been? Friends, tell me, how many stories have there been where the husband did not even read anything, but understood everything? And then somehow it came out, his mother, and he sits there, trying to justify her. Itself was Syriaska in bed, and so on. It lasted a long time. And went to the apartment, and so on. Well, the dear, well, no, well, throw a stone at me if I'm wrong. But I'm sure to remain without a single scratch. I like this phrase, by the way. Yes, but the fellow author, well, sorry, because the man is, in fact, drunk. It happens then, that a man loves selflessly, loves as the last time, as the only time, and losing a woman, cannot pull himself together. Good, hope for his successful future gives at least the fact that he clearly understood that divorce is inevitable and divorce is necessary. which cannot be said about our hero. And his comrade, you there under the last video a lot of pluses that agree with me, but also read the opinion of regular listeners that probably is not the best way to communicate with the audience, as for many comment is a source of new opinions, a source of other points of view, and it would be very interesting to read them. Of course, I want to ask you to put pluses in the comments if you agree with what I just said about the whole story we've been listening to today, but my conscience won't let me do that. So I'll ask, if you agree, to write about it in full, so our other subscribers can enjoy reading the content